Hey there! Have you ever stared at a bunch of computer code and it just looked like, I don't know, a completely foreign language? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to take a simple piece of Java code and translate it piece by piece into something that makes total sense. Let's just dive right in.
So this is what we're aiming for. This is our end goal, a nice, friendly message. Think of it like a finished dish coming out of the kitchen. Looks pretty simple, right? But what's the actual recipe that gets us to this point?
And here it is. This is the recipe. This block of code is what produces that simple little message. I know, at first glance, it probably looks like a crazy jumble of weird words and punctuation. But trust me, every single character, every line here has a job to do, and we're about to figure out exactly what that is.
It does look complicated, doesn't it? But what if we just thought about it differently? What if this isn't some complex, scary code, but it's actually just a simple recipe, with a few key steps? Because at the end of the day, that's all programming really is, just a set of super specific instructions for a computer to follow.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's walk through Java's simplest recipe. We're going to go line by line, from the very top to the bottom, just like you would with any recipe you'd find in a cookbook.
So first things first, every recipe has to be written down on something, right? A recipe card, a page in your notebook, whatever. In the world of Java, that container, the thing that holds our recipe, it has a special name. It's called a class.
So a class is literally just the container for our code. It's the recipe card. You remember that first line of code we saw? Public class hello user? That's all it was doing. It was just creating a brand new recipe card and slapping the name hello user on it. That's it. Everything else we're going to do has to live inside this one container.
All right, so we've got our recipe card. Now for the fun part. What's actually written on it? The good stuff, the ingredients we need, and the actual instructions to follow.
Okay, this next line, the public static void main part, it looks like the most complicated thing here, but I promise its job is super simple. Think of it as just writing "start cooking here" right at the top of your recipe. It's the official starting point. In programming, we call a self-contained set of instructions like this a method. And this specific main method is what Java always looks for to get things started.
Now, you can't cook without preparing your ingredients first, right? Well, in our code, the line string username equals John is doing exactly that. It's like we're creating an ingredient jar. Programmers would call this a variable, and we're putting a label on it that says username. Then we drop our ingredient, which is just the text John, right inside that jar. We're just saving it for later.
And finally, it is time to serve the dish. This is our last instruction. That command, system.out.println, all it really means is, hey, display whatever follows on the screen. And what are we telling it to display? Well, just like you see here, we're giving it the text hello, then we use that little plus sign to add the ingredient from our username jar, and then we add the final bit of text to build our complete friendly message.
So let's just step back for a second and look at what we've really accomplished. We started out with this block of code that looked, honestly, pretty intimidating. But by breaking it all down with this simple recipe idea, you can see how every single piece has its own clear, logical job.
So here's the big takeaway. We've just uncovered the fundamental building blocks of almost any Java program. A class, that's just the recipe card. The main method, that's our list of instructions, our start cooking here sign. A variable, that's our prepared ingredient sitting in its jar. And that println command, well, that's just how we serve the final dish. Every time you see a Java program from now on, you'll be able to spot these same exact pieces.
And there you have it. You've just walked through and completely understood your first Java program. You've seen that what looks like a complicated foreign language is really just a set of structured, logical instructions. So really, the only question left is, now that you know the basics of the recipe, what kind of amazing dish are you going to create next?